Now I'm gonna get straight to it, but bear with me, because lately I've been kind of discouraged about making videos while dealing with so many different attacks, spiritual ones that is, and um, trying to figure out, on a path to self-discovery, because a lot of times we try to get to know other people without even realize we don't even know who we are. Now, this content in general is for anyone, just in general is for anyone, because it's YouTube, right? You could view this, even if you don't like it, you could view it, but if this content resonate with you, you know, like, comment, subscribe, share, do all that stuff. If you're not, that's all I ask. Now, I'm really speaking though to those ones that don't feel like they fit in, that's been even considered an outcast, just going through many trials and tribulations and feeling like you got bad luck. Like no matter what you do, no matter what you strategize and try to, accomplish, it seems like it's just legions and teams of disagreeable, negative, spiteful, individuals. If you feel like, you've been ganged up on, then I'm definitely talking to you. See, I don't speak about things that I haven't went through or been around and witnessed. A few years ago, I wouldn't even know what gang stalking was. I'll say 3 to 4 years ago, maybe a little longer. I didn't know the title of it. See, when you have an understanding, that when you have a higher meaning and a purpose of life, a reason why you are here. See, when you think outside the box and when you have a higher calling beyond working a job, beyond just getting material things, different cars, land, etc., all these material things, when you feel and know that your purpose and purpose of life is beyond material, then I'm also talking to you. I'm speaking to anybody that can relate. When you just feel like you just don't fit in. And you got some people feel like something wrong with them. But see, especially if you feel like everything you do, you're being watched. You go into a room, you seem like the center of attention. Seem like time temporarily stop when you come into a room. Or people look like they seen a ghost. I'm here to tell you that you are here to serve a higher purpose. You may be here to help people discover certain things about themselves that they didn't know. You may be here to encourage, people that feel hopeless and let them know that they have hope. See, sometimes it's the small things that we don't realize that make big impacts in our lives and even others' lives. But if you're being watched and you feel like you're being watched and people think you're crazy, it's because more than likely you were handpicked by the gods. And for those that may be like, what the heck is he talking about, handpicked by the God? You were sent here to complete missions. See, the movies tell you a lot, especially in the movies they label sci-fi or, all these different categories. Science fiction, and they tell you the truth about what you would call celestial beings or extraterrestrials. You have to have an understanding is that's who's really running this matrix, what we would label angels and demons, to me, which is one of the same of what you will call, aliens. See, in this world, there's many titles, but who knows who's really politically correct? Interdimensional beings. See, if you've been gang stalked and watched, you may be, and more likely, a part of what they will call the chosen ones. And I don't really like to use that word too, because a lot of people use, oh, chosen and but there's only a few that's chosen, but many are called. Many are called, but a few are chosen. Even myself, there's still things in my life that's missing, but I'm still seeking and searching and looking inside. Especially when you have work jobs and it's just not fulfilling. It's energy draining, because individuals like you, especially, are not meant to work jobs. You have a gift, and you have, haters, evil entities that's trying to block your gifts and your success. So I'm here to tell you, let them watch. And because they know and see something great in you, and it triggers their demons. It triggers their jealousy. They want to watch you because you're like that caterpillar, that's transitioning into a butterfly. They try to bound you down to earth, but you have no choice but to fly, because that's what you was meant for. And it's deep because, when you really anointed, you are protected. There's not a belief, it's a knowing. When you stand out, the whole star constellation move when you move. So I'm speaking to those ones, the bright ones, not the false light ones. Yeah, they're watching you, everything you do, every step you take. Yeah, they're on your devices. You don't have to be perfect. Real Messiah seeds that went through so much, and they try to label you and try to make certain people like they were perfect and they didn't make mistakes and they didn't go through the motions. Anyone that's here on this earth plane is going to have certain experience. They don't go through feeling anger. They're going to go through feeling sad, depressed, even as what they would call star seeds, light workers, etc. When you're on earth, you're going to feel these certain emotions. That's why it's important for you to detach and not get too attached to the things of this world. This is a hateful place. Yeah, love exists here, but there's a lot of war. There's a lot of conflict. There's a lot of frustration. There's a lot of hating. There's a lot of, hindering, gatekeeping. They know who you are. You are a star, beyond a star. You predate the stars. And if this sounds crazy, then this content is not for you. I'm speaking to those bright ones, the ones that they were trying to keep rocking asleep, but that's awoke or awakened souls, and I'm speaking to you. They always trying to block a message or trying to make it seem like they're not listening, but they're listening, especially if you creating content or you doing art or you're multi-talented and you feel like people are just hating on you and trying to hold you back. That's because you are near a breakthrough, and it's near. So you got to keep going, and you can't let nothing stop you, and take this from a person that's going through this, that's been through this. I fight legions of demons every single minute, moment, second, hour. Can't even do regular things. That's how you know you're not regular. You can't even do regular things. People watching you every little single thing you do. Law enforcement, you ain't even breaking the law, but every time you turn around, they right there. People just come out of nowhere, just standing there, like they don't have no purpose but to be standing there. People giving you an attitude, looking at you crazy because you're triggering their demons. See, it's a deeper meaning to that 144,000. And if that's only the chosen, there's billions and billions, if not a few trillions of people on this planet. That's a very few. So you just got to know there's not many that's going to take this narrow road. There's only a few. And you're going to go through the trials and tribulations, and you're going to go through more than most. You're going to be watched, ridiculed, possibly even persecuted, or even prosecuted. You got to watch. The game is rigged. You were born into a system that was already rigged against you, because you are the one. But you're not only the one, you are the three. And I speak to those ones that feel like they just an outcast, that they can't fit in, or, but I speak to anybody, You ain't even got to be in that category, category. If you just a quote unquote, what they would label regular person, working, doing, if you going through things and trials and tribulations, appreciate the things you have. Because I believe even an insect have a purpose in life. And the purpose could be just to be. Even the extras in the movies have a purpose. They may not do anything in the movie, but they was in it. They are in it. So yeah, it's a lot that goes on, and there's deeper meanings to bullying and community, bullying and gang stalking. They're really spiritual attacks. We are in a midst of an ending to a new beginning. And they're real life messiahs, they're real life Buddhas, they're real life ascended masters, and may not even recognize who you are. But the enemy sees you, and that's why they attack you more than anybody. They're not worried about Tom, Dick, and Harry. Tom, Dick, and Harry not serving a bigger purpose like you are. Tom, Dick, and Harry don't carry the forces that you carry. So you got to expect that you're going to be hated before you're celebrated. Because remember, right? They don't seem to appreciate you until you're gone. So for anyone that's going through, and I do mean anyone, but especially for those ones that's here to carry out a big purpose in life, the anointed ones. I'm not a big Bible thumper, but I believe it's a lot. I know there's a lot of true things in there. And it's speaking about people like you and I, the ones that's going through the most, the ones that's been through the fire, the ones that's always getting looked at ugly, the ones that have to always work harder than everyone else, the ones that don't seem to get their full appreciation, the underdog. That's who I speak for. But again, this contest is for anyone. You could just like this, or I hope I can inspire you even through my struggles and hardship. I may not even be doing the best in my life, but I'm hoping you can do better. I'm not one of those kind of people that's going to hate on somebody because of how they look, their color, race, creed. It's all about the heart. And just know this. You must be doing something right if you got a lot of people hating on you, watching you. Stay on that narrow path. Look inside yourself for any answers any questions that you have. The answer is inside. But pay attention to the signs and be very careful of who you let in your circle. Eyes are on you. It's triple ones to God. I own us 13. And I'm out.